All right, so next on the docket is the story of Twitch Boss. His last name is Boss, but Twitch and his wife, Allison Holker. And this has been heating up the internet because some people are very concerned about her. And now allegations have even begun to arise to wonder if perhaps maybe this wasn't actually an unaliving in itself. Maybe there's something more suspicious going on here. Before I hop on into it, though, I want to remind you guys you can always book a consultation with me. You can go to SimoneRedwine.com. You can get my book here, Background Checks 101. I teach you how to do things just like how I just pulled up the guy Corey Pritchard, the YouTuber's record and his court records. I teach you how to do that in Background Checks 101, my ebook, which is only $19.99. You can also go to my website, SimoneRedwine.com, and click Book or Hire Simone. And here you can schedule a consultation starting at only $149 for 30 minutes. All right, now let's get back to it. The Twitch saga. This was really sad. So, here we are. So, if you're familiar with Twitch, Twitch was Ellen DeGeneres, one of her very good friends, and he was a dancer on the show. He was on So You Think You Can Dance and other shows, and he brought so much joy to the Ellen DeGeneres show. Well, in 2022, he allegedly unalived himself, and his wife, Allison, who's photoed here, had decided that she would write a memoir telling all his secrets. And in it, she sat down with people and told all his business. She told everyone that he was a drug addict, that he was addicted to drugs, according to her, and that she believes that's why he unalived himself. Now, mind you, they have two young children together under the ages of 10. And then the woman has a stepdaughter, an older daughter that would be Twitch's stepson. Now, some of the very strange things that she's done, I'm going to read her statement. Some of the other strange things that she's done is they said 2 days after he passed, she stopped going by his last name, which is Boss. Those are still your kid's last name. Now she wants to go by her ugly name, which is Holker. It's ugly. Sorry, if my last name could be Boss, like, well, mine's Redwine. I love it. But like, she decided to no longer go by his name. And the big kicker for me was when his family notified or released that she actually made his mother sign an NDA to attend his funeral. Made his entire family. No, we know that his family had to sign an NDA, but it's not clear if she made others. His family had to sign an NDA. I'm going to read some statements on that and some commentary. And then I want to close with explaining to you guys, jokes on you, Allison, because that NDA likely isn't valid at all. And we'll talk about the legal reasons why. Now, to start off, she wants to clear the air now that she sat down with People magazine. And this book she's going to be profiting off of. And she says she's made this statement. It says, to the fans of Stephen and our family and friends, I want to be clear. My only intention in writing the book is to share my own story, as well as part of the life with Stephen to help other people. Just like you, I never really knew what happened. And even as I am trying to put the pieces together, I'll never really know. If you decide to read the book, i.e., buy the book, if you decide to buy the book, hopefully you'll see my intention is to celebrate the love and life I shared with Stephen and our three beautiful children. The three beautiful children that you no longer share a name with because you decided you don't want to go by Boss anymore. And also our three beautiful children and also the more complex aspects of both of our lives. I hope that by sharing our full story, maybe I can help someone else who might see themselves or a loved one in Stephen. In sharing, I hope that maybe they can catch some of the red flags that I missed before it's too late. Over the course of the last 2 years, I've spoken in detail with NAMI, which is a nonprofit, as well as the Solomon family and the Defensive Line Foundation to better educate myself on mental health issues so that I can share warning signs with others. All of the proceeds from this book are going to fund mental health focused foundation I started in Stephen's honor, Move with Kindness. My hope is that we don't need to lose another husband, brother, or father, or friend to unaliving. I believe that if Stephen were able to choose, he would choose to have his story told if it meant saving even one life. Much love to all those who have supported our family over the years. Now, I'll say this. I think talking about signs that in retrospect you feel like you missed but could have picked up on, I think that's admirable. I think that that should be done. But the way now, the details that are being revealed of the way in which she's gone about this whole thing has everyone side eyeing her. And this is her responding to some of accusations that she has disgraced Stephen with what she's doing. Now, this person, Energize You, is actually a close family friend of theirs. And she said, this whole thing made me sad. He's gone. Why tear apart his name? I was fully supportive about you moving in and being happy, or probably moving on and being happy. But this paycheck was not worth disgracing his name. She writes, I'll always love you. Just trying to help people feel safe to ask for help and support. Her friend wrote back, I love you too. It's so hard to hear, and I imagine it can't be easy going through what you've been through. There will be a lot of hate thrown your way, but it's not for me to judge such a difficult situation. It's just so hard to digest. Yeah. Now, this is
friends, and we were cleaning out the closet and picking out an outfit for him for the funeral. And it was a really triggering moment for me because there was a lot of things I discovered in our closet that I did not know existed. And it was very alarming to me to learn that there was so much happening that I had no clue. So it was a really scary moment in my life to figure that out. But it also helped me process that he was going through so much and he was hiding so much. And there must have been a lot of shame in that. And he was wrestling with a lot inside himself, and he was trying to self-medicate and cope with all those feelings because he didn't want to put it on anyone, because he loved everyone so much. He didn't want other people to take on his pain. But it was very alarming and scary to find those things and have never known. A moment, I was with one of my really dear friends, and we were cleaning out the closet.
All right, that's enough for her. Yeah, I'm reading the comments. Great point, Danielle. No one knew her until his death, and now she's behaving as if his death was her come up. Lara Livingston said she's trying to full on destroy his legacy and promote herself off the back of his life. I love this comment, Scorpion Stinger. It says the things she's sharing were not necessary to achieve what she claims is her intention. And I think that's why people are upset. That's why people are upset. In addition, his autopsy, so she claims he's a drug addict. Well, his autopsy listed no drugs in his system at all. So his family is livid with that. I'm pulling that up now. His family is livid with that. How are you have a drug addict with no drugs in their system? I'm going to tell you, number one thing that a drug addict would have in their system is drugs. Also, if a drug addict were about to unalive themselves, you best believe they'd be high as a kite, baby. High as a kite. Also, we're going to, here, let me move this tab. His brother was hot, baby. His brother was hot. So this is a post his brother, Manny Cross, has posted. He said, Dear Allison, you have lied for the last time on my brother. He was absolutely no addict. I'm gonna make sure it's on the screen. You can see it. Okay. I know it's small, but he was absolutely no addict. You will say and do anything for $1. An addict? You are the one that was messing with Coke, Molly, and X. I believe it. I have all the proof. Play with somebody safe. Country boy right here. I don't give a F. Every person who knew him knows you're lying and have been doing dirty crap for a long time. Should I post our last conversation? Try me. You have no idea what I have to post. Here's a few questions I have for you, though. Let me see if I can make this bigger. He says, why did you make my mom sign an NDA to see her son's body? Why did his closest friends and family have to sign an NDA to attend his funeral? Why did you lie at the funeral about how every day was magical? It wasn't. He told me everything. You had to try and demonize Nelson, and now I see why. I don't know who Nelson is. You demonize anyone in his life that found out the truth about you. You will say his friends aren't his friends. You will discredit anyone that knows the truth. You are a toxic woman, and I truly believe he would still be alive had he not married you. My only regret is telling him to work on it with you for the sake of the kids. When he talked to me about leaving you, I knew it. I knew it. I just didn't know the full truth, just like everyone that supports you. We were both in the same situation, married to toxic narcissists that loved Black men as a fetish, that will lie and cry wolf and twist narratives and so called evidence to be a victim and make a dollar. We didn't have our dads the way we wanted, so we persevered through the bull to be the best fathers that we could. Today is the last day that you do this. I was contacted about a TV show last year, and after sending their condolences about me losing Steven, guess what the producer said about you? The same thing all of them said about you. You're a money hungry, lying narcissist that will play victim and say and do anything for a dollar. Last question. Wasn't it your pow pow that was used? Ciao, ciao, ciao. Keep playing with my brother's name. This is a year of the truth. Everything is offline. Nothing is off limits. ADHD, ADHD, forever. Oh, somebody forever. Wasn't it your pow pow that was used? I'll tell you this. I don't know anyone happily married that's unalived themselves. I don't know. I don't know. I know multiple people who have. I don't know a one with a supportive wife who's there for them and supports them and makes life easier. Who does that? So I'm lending a lot of credence to what the family is saying. Yep, Lisa Love said, I knew he wanted a divorce. She's a witch and a killer. They only love black. Ooh, they love black men. Ooh, my goodness. We like everybody over here, okay? If you're Caucasian and you're watching this, you're my cousin too, and in the eyes of the Lord. Now, if you marry a white woman whose family is racist and their anti-blackness will eventually seep out. Ooh, well, that's true. I also wish Ellen would speak out on his behalf. Ellen can't say nothing about anything right now because people are still mad at her for the way she treated people allegedly on the set. Crazy part is she was keeping his family away from the grandkids and still are. So let's talk about that. I think what inflamed me the most was hearing about how since then she's kept the kids away and how she's mistreated his friends and family and made people sign NDA. So we're going to get legal with it. Pull up your drink, pull up your chair, and let's be really clear. So here very clearly, here's why that NDA that she made people sign, that she made his mother sign to view his body, and his family and friends sign to attend the funeral is probably null and void. And if you've received one, feel free for free. I will review it for you. Send it on over to my DMs. Email me, attorney Simone with a Y at Gmail. I'll review it for you and I'll give you my personal stuff because you are more than welcome. If I had that, I'd go to the media with it because since she wants to go to media with everything, let's start there. So in order to have a valid NDA, there's a number of things that you have to have, but we're going to focus on the four main things that are relevant here. So one of the things is that it has to have a reasonable duration. So keep something confidential for a reasonable amount of time. We don't know here what the duration was, but chances are she probably said forever or something like that, but a reasonable duration. Doubtful that that was here. Second, there has to be something called offer and acceptance. So one person, the person offers to keep information confidential, and the other person agrees to, give you the confidential information. Okay. So that would be, for example, his mom is agreeing to keep things confidential by signing it. But the other thing you have to have is actual confidential information. And here's what confidential information, see, the NDA must specifically define what constitutes confidential information. You don't have to just go to a Google or something. They have to define it in the NDA what it is that's confidential and what it is you're going to be receiving. Vague or overly broad definitions render the agreement unenforceable. In addition, the information must be clearly identified as confidential, whether it's proprietary data, usually it's data, business strategies, this kind of thing. And it has to be in, it can't be information that you can obtain from other sources or on your own. So, for example, by virtue of attending a funeral, what goes on in there is not confidential. Funerals are public events. Now, if at the funeral they would have said, for example, he had a drug addiction, that could be considered confidential information. But it ain't no more because Miss Thing just sat down and told the whole world in a book. So even if something was confidential on that day of the funeral, but that she later made it public, NDA null and void. NDA null and void. There was nothing confidential that was obtained there. Now, they could say things, for example, like don't take pictures. No problem. No one would be upset about that. His family, his friends. Some people may say, well, I want to take a photo to remember. That's fine. But it's weird. It's weird. Taking pictures of dead people at a funeral is kind of weird. Um, that's the kind of thing that you can ask for. And I don't think any in the comments, if you went to a funeral and someone said, hey, we're going to ask that you don't take any photos of the body, that you don't take any photos, at the gravesite, something like that, would you be opposed to that? I wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, no problem. And then the last thing that I believe did not exist here that would make this NDA invalid is you have to offer consideration. What is consideration? Consideration is something of value. It could be money. So that's how come usually if you sign an NDA or a separation agreement when you're leaving a company, they have to also give you money. They cannot withhold your last paycheck to force you to sign an NDA. No, they have to give you something you didn't already earn. And as a result, what is the consideration? The ability to attend in itself a funeral is not consideration. First of all, a funeral is free. A funeral is free. And second of all, there is this loophole, not loophole, but there is um a, a rarely used but often applicable term in the law that says that some rule can have an exception. This is an exception when something is void for public policy. And what that means is that if there's a law that traditionally, hey, this is how it would work, but that it's against the way in which American society like the proper way to operate, the moral way, then a judge would set aside the traditional way. Now, void for public policy, here's the best example, and I've given it before in the channel. There was literally a case where this dad hated his son-in-law. He tells his daughter, if you divorce him, I'll give you $100,000. She divorces the guy because she wants the money. But her dad ends up not giving her the money. She takes the dad to court, and the court says, hey, we can't hear this because that type of agreement, an agreement to divorce somebody in exchange for money, is void for public policy. It's just a bad policy to have in our society. Similarly here, I believe a court would find it is a bad policy to force mothers and relatives to sign NDAs to see their dead babies. It just won't fly. Not to mention the fact that there's no consideration. Did you pay anybody? Did you say, I'll give you this amount of money to sign this NDA to see your dead baby? No. Why? Because that would be weird. And so the hell is this. So in the end, this NDA is null and void. It sounds like this death is a lot more suspicious than we initially thought. And my condolences go to the family of Twitch, the true family of Twitch, not this woman who is acting in such a way that we can only question her moral turpitude as well as her behavior. And let's hope that these babies get to see their grandparents, their cousins, their Black side of the family sometime soon, and that negative things aren't being told to them about that. Because we all know when that happens, it makes you not love that side of who you are. Now, I'm going to read a few comments. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and if you have any final questions. I just wanted to make sure that the viewers understand if somebody ever ever tells you you have to sign an NDA to see your dead baby, call me and rip that bitch up. Rip it up. Go ahead, sign it. See your baby. Take your little copy of it on your phone because you may have to sue that person later. Yeah, somebody said, I hope she makes millions off this. List, it's only going to go one way or the other. People, either a lot of people are going to buy that book, or not a lot of people are going to buy that book, or people may go on Amazon and literally give that sucker 1 star. You know how people were upset about that fake book that called itself being Kim Porter's last words. People went and gave that a 1 star. Amazon pulled that bad boy so far. So for the people that are upset about this, I'm not saying you should. But what I am saying is that on Amazon and places like that, Amazon's the number one place to get books now, that the people talk. And when people go to Amazon and say, this ain't right, Amazon listens. Right. She be sharing the confidential information. Yeah. So, hold up. Big short. Really, what it sounds like here is it sounds like the reason she may have wanted that NDA is so that she could write her book. Because if everybody went out telling their story before she got her chance to, she couldn't got that $1 million book deal. Because I believe that people who sign it, see, those people didn't have a lawyer look over. There was no time for that. So all those people who signed that NDA probably believed that they couldn't talk about certain things and didn't. We haven't heard from any of his family prior to this. Not a one. And you heard his brother say a production company reached out to him about telling the story. And we don't know what happened, but to my knowledge, it appears the story was not told. But it sounds like they needed her, the wife, to be a part of the story. And she probably said, no, I got my $1 million deal. I'm going to tell it my way after I get my million. Somebody said, I thought funerals were private events. Well, here's the problem. They're placed. Funerals are in obituaries, which are generally in digital media and online. And no, they're considered public events because you don't need an invitation to attend a funeral. So no, they're actually public events. That's why they're in the newspaper. Somebody said nobody's buying anything after. It says Allison is so wrong from keeping the kids away from Twitch's parents and other family members. Why would the family have to sign an NDA? How evil. Yeah. If there's anything grandparents need after the passing of their son, is those grandbabies. That is the lifeline to their child. Yeah, I feel like pictures of these are disrespectful. Well, that was, yeah, every culture is like a little different. But I say that to say, like, as an example, like that's something nobody would do. So if that's your concern, that's that. But there's nothing that's said at a funeral that's private information, right? Every funeral I've ever been to, you have people go to the mic, share stories about, they share stories that help other people grieve. It's about a community getting together. So why would you not want anyone to share these happy stories of how they have remembered Twitch? Literally? What kind of weirdo are you? Yeah, she said she better, MD said she better remember the kids grow up. Family and Dan's community took this so hard. He was always giving back to the children. She never seemed sad after his death. Did she cry in the interview? Oh, good question. Sounds like it would be signed under extreme duress, so the NDA could be null and void. Great point, MS. Absolutely. I hope the family blocks the book. Yeah, it could act. That is a great form of arguable duress. Is that, yeah, I wouldn't even be thinking straight. I wouldn't be thinking straight at that point. This whole situation is just heartbreaking. She's an opportunist. Girl, I can cry on demand, so that means nothing as far as whether she cried. She said the money's going to a charity. Yes, a charity she's going to run. Let me tell you something. Do y'all know that at one point, the president of the charity, Susan G. Komen Foundation, made $750,000 per year? So anything can be a charity. That doesn't mean you're not profiting from the charity. It doesn't mean you're not earning money. I know the charity itself has to use all their funds, but you keeping the money for a charity, like $1 million charity, and paying yourself $1 million, that doesn't mean nothing. We're not stupid. I love how the cousin said F her NDA. Oh, yeah, let me put that up. This is the no, here we go. Well, this was which one is this? Yes, this was the cousin. Let me share this tab. So the cousin was not here for it. The cousin said she doesn't give a F about the NDA. Good job, Big L. She said, this crazy woman made me and his actual family sign an NDA just to even attend the funeral. She's been trying to tarnish his legacy and refuses to let the boss family see the children, only to exploit and lie on him. Hell no, she said. Including his mother. As in the mom couldn't see him without signing the NDA. I'm so tired of keeping my mouth shut, bro. You did our family so dirty. Someone says it sounds like you should be documenting a YouTube and TikTok to make money and document this. So I don't need to make money off this. Money doesn't move me at all. I love that. Thank you. This is about what's right, and I don't feel she is being right. Correct. And then here are just some few comments. I'll close with these. Where people were giving their thoughts as users and viewers speculate on his passing. It says, the Twitch story doesn't sound like an unaliving no more. Fiercely Fixated said, they said she hired a defense attorney when he passed. She changed her name 2 days after he died and cleaned out his closet fast when looking for a suit for the funeral. Now, cleaning out the closet, I'm gonna tell you that's a little different. Because I've seen where like my mom would go in for family members and do it for them when they're ready. Some people want it done faster, some people don't. They want to take their time with it. But hiring a defense attorney, NDAs as people walk into the funeral is crazy. His side of the family in particular. How does someone have a drug addiction but their autopsy was clean? Wait until you find out who the Pow Pow was registered to. It was her. Okay, I thought I was crazy because that report never made sense to me. The one that said of how he passed. It says the way she's talking, I don't think she ever loved him. Well, agreed. And remember, shortly after his death, a psychic lady said everything will eventually hit the fan, and this lady will be at the forefront. Well. And on that note, guys, thanks for joining another episode of Girl, Is That Legal? I'm going to be taking this Twitch segment and I'm going to repost it. So if you guys are like, we already saw this is why. I want to make sure people understand an NDA at a funeral is likely null and void. Hope y'all have a great evening.